Hello everyone, welcome to Study IS. In this discussion, we are going to take the aspects related to internal security of your mains GS3 but paper 4. Now, before initiating this session, before taking the aspect of what were the different dimensions about on which the questions have come or what are the subtopics, this entire paper and the way this UPSC has given its papers in 2026, it is very much clear, it is very much evident that if in today's time you are going to adopt a silos approach, that is not going to help, because the very aspect of questions and the way these questions have been asked, it is very much clear that you have to adopt an integrated approach about which the Study IS is advocating for more than 3.5 decades, almost 3.5 decades. And the founder of which, who has laid this idea, is till now practicing it to date, that is Manikant sir. If you see these questions which has been asked, you will also see that whatever some of these topics which has been covered has already been taken by Manikant sir in the current affair classes which he generally organizes on a weekly basis. So let us initiate this discussion and let's move ahead. So the first question is something related to explain how fake news and disinformation are certain kind of threat to internal security and public order in Indian context. Specifically, they have asked about Indian context. Next, they what they want to discuss in this regard, discuss salient features of amendment in respect of IT rules which has come in 2021 related to intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics code. So somewhere what it is telling one need to work a bit about fake news and disinformation. So in the introduction, what you can lay down is an interdisciplinary approach, that how these news are fabricated with wrong ethical intention, when you want to manifest fear or hatred among society. So social impact will surely come. How this ethical intention is further facilitated by technological use, deep fakes and all those things. In recent times, can manifest such kind of social impact in the society. So just in yourself, just see the kind of holistic analysis that it wants, be it in the form of ethics, be it in the form of technology, be it in the form of society or social justice for which it is required. So how the social impact is further penetrated, all you need to is to discuss about the aspect of communal violence, public fear created during health issues. For example, during the second wave of COVID-19, one can generally find that during COVID-19, people were facing this issue of how it is going to be tackled in the proper manner. For example, there was certain kind of oxygen deficit for sure in many regions. But where there was certain kind of oxygen surplus and still such kind of technology was manifested or such kind of fake news was manifested to create fear, that led to a panic situation. Third thing is financial crisis. Panic can be created that particular bank is going to collapse in a while, or collapse in the sense financial collapse. So what will happen? Withdrawal of funds will happen. Now, if the withdrawal of funds happen, that the very credit to deposit ratio is going to be affected to a great extent. It will become highly volatile, highly unstable. So, in that sense, it is also critically or equally important. So, economic aspect is also coming. Monetary policy need to be tackled accordingly. So, and yeah, obviously, the political or international aspect will also come in the form of state sponsored. So this can be Gordon Richmond has written a very brilliant book on this part, thinking how state sponsored fake news is manifested from different sections of society, especially like the very idea of deep state when it comes at times. Now, what has happened due to all these things? Generally, what happened? The BNC Krishna Committee. Many people know about it, that it is somewhere laid the genesis of DPDP Act, Digital Personal Data Protection Act, for which it stated that there is a need for such kind of measures because it is going to affect or erode societal values to a great extent. One of which was IT rules also at that time. IT rules of that intermediary rules that has come. Now what happened in this thing, this very idea of rules were primarily tackled in the manner when the original rules came. What they did, they brought the idea of certain kind of grievance redressal mechanism. That need to be created in these social media platforms, because these are the major hub where such kind of fake news or disinformation is created. In an year, Ministry of Home Affairs found that under these rules, when this body was created, grievance redressal mechanism, it was told that this particular compliance officers and all, what they have to do, they have to submit a monthly report that what action has been taken on whatever grievances or complaint which has been registered with those social media platforms. And Ministry of Home Affairs found that there is a sense of non-compliance from these platforms. So what they did in 2022, they amended certain rules and they added the idea of grievance appellant committees, JACs. So it was a state-based body, a made government-based body. What was the major role of it was, if any kind of appeals that need to be whatever actions has been taken, if there any kind of appeals is triggered related to those actions, it will go to grievance appellant committees. Apart from this, in 2023, further amendment led to formation of another body called fact check unit. The major intention of this body was to take down social media posts which they felt that is somewhere against the government. Now, in a democracy where you are trying to manifest to take down certain kind of post, that is somewhere going to violate the fundamental rights like Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, freedom of speech and expression. It is also going to violate Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. There can be certain specific channels which may be criticizing government's opinion, and fact check unit is saying that they drop down these posts. So what is happening? It is somewhere violating Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. That means somewhere you are trying to erode democratic values. You are going to lead. If you are going to erode democratic values are going to decrease, that means it is leading to democratic deficit. So very intention of these IT rules somewhere come into a very gray picture. So now think what from where they started and from where they came down, the very vibrant, the kind of nature of question which has been asked, it itself tells you if you are not going to adopt this integrated approach, it is going to be a huge pitfall for you. Huge pitfall for you. So due to this, what happened in Kunal Kamra versus Union of India case, in 2024, they declared this body as unconstitutional. The High Court declared it. Supreme Court is still going to taking this appellant measures because again at one side we have to understand one thing, that it is somewhere creating an ethical dilemma that there is a need for such kind of bodies. Why is it so? Because somewhere there is certain kind of security threat as well. Our secular fabric can be disrespected, and on the other hand these are creating certain kind of democratic deficit as well. So there is a need to ensure any kind of balance between the two. So you can end it with an ethical aspect. This is how we have to write down the entire answer. Now what's the next question? Ladakh is strategically located between China and Pakistan as a measure to win hearts and minds of locals. Discuss the border, because the kind of recent protest which happened in Ladakh region related to 6 scheduled demand, it somewhere led to this thing by there is a need for certain kind of measures. So BADP thing has been asked, civil action which has been taken by army, that also need to be discussed, and demand for promulgation for 6th schedule, what is there. Again, you started from internal security, you start taking the aspect of China and Pakistan, so somewhere you are taking the aspect of international relations as well, and then you are moving towards the governance part, and then you are finally moving towards the political and the constitutional part. So this in itself tells the way we need to take care of it. I will show this the post which I was showing. So firstly what you can do, you can show it in the form of a geographical aspect as well. When you draw the map of Ladakh, this is Ladakh. So on the other one side there is China, on the other side there is Pakistan, which makes Ladakh region as very much unique, because due to this the Gilgit-Baltistan, which is a part of at this moment as a Pakistan occupied Kashmir part. So due to this, what is happening, Ladakh is one of the only regions in India which is having borders with 2 hostile neighbors, not just one, 2 hostile neighbors. Northeastern state do not face such kind of things, because at one side there is Bhutan, and Bhutan is a very friendly nation with us. Although we may find certain kind of hostility with Bangladesh, but from time to time, not every time. But in this case, there are high concerns for sure. So you need to discuss a bit of, if you draw this diagram, you can initiate the idea why there are so many concerns related to it. So geographical aspect is for sure which is going to come. Then international relation IR aspect will also come, which is somewhere penetrating its threat related to internal security as well. So this becomes very much prominent by what measures has been taken to tackle this thing in a holistic manner. This Border Area Development Program, BADP, which has been initiated under 7th 5-year plan in 1985-1990, the extension of which one can find in Union Cabinet decision to launch an initiative called Vibrant Villages Program. We are trying to build certain kind of infrastructures in the region. Connectivity can be enhanced, like you can find airports and all those things in the Ladakh region. Similarly, you can also see the scope of aspect of certain kind of like Kargil Democratic Alliance, KDA, Ladakh Apex Body Lab, to enhance local governance in the region. When it comes to army, the Indian Army is trying to build army goodwill schools in many regions of Ladakh, like Leh, Kargil, Zanskar, all these somewhere are regions are there. Now the question comes ki why this idea of means whatever kind of measures which you are taking, why it has paved the way for 6th schedule area. So it becomes very much prominent in the sense where this diagram is a very beautiful thing. Why is it so? Because somewhere when this infrastructure development is going on, this is somewhere going to affect the ecological fragility. At this moment, the climate change is affecting Ladakh. The environmental aspect is also coming. Average temperature has gone up to, according to Down to Earth report, is 30 degrees Celsius. Not a small thing when it comes in the context of Ladakh, which is a highly cold desert region. So, due to this infrastructure change, the land induced change is somewhere affecting land and identity issue, deficit or something, crisis is coming in this region. Why is it so? Because tourism, which is a major hinge point for this, and this is creating major problem. So due to this becomes very much prominent ki why, and another thing is that ki 6th schedule area, why it need to be brought, because somewhere we have to also understand ki when the abrogation of article 370 and 35A happened, and when Ladakh became a union territory, that too without any kind of legislative assembly, the political voice was lost. And 6th schedule area also becomes important because National Commission for Scheduled Tribes NCST recommended that because this region has 90 population of 90% from tribal population, it is very much pertinent to include this region in the 6th schedule area. So this will further enhance the sense of land and identity. This may create a problem of land and identity crisis as well, because land induced changes which are required for infrastructure development, that can be stopped, that can be curtailed, that can be curbed. So ethical dilemma will surely again come. Again, the restoration of balance is required. Precedents are there which we discussed about ki Kargil Democratic Alliance and all these things that need to be incorporated. Now this time very much unique thing happened when it comes to internal security questions, was that on one side they asked about the Ladakh side, and on the other side they are asking about Jammu and Kashmir. And every time the first 3 questions, if you see, whatever they are doing is, again they are reaching to this constitutional aspect again and again and again and again, trying to showcase ki at the end of the day you have to ensure a holistic integration of all disciplines. So again, now if you have to discuss about separatist movement, has been one of the major factors to militancy and instability in Jammu and Kashmir. So discuss what measures have been taken by the government to bring this into national stream. Again, they are trying to bring the pre and post abrogation status, tell about it. And then again you are discussing about what is a positive impact of abrogation of articles in mainstreaming the state. So somewhere these 3 parts should be clubbed into one thing. Why is it so? Because somewhere if you are not going to do the same, you are somewhere going to create certain kind of duplicacy in most of the content. and that is not going to fetch you marks. Rather, it will be better that the kind of dimensions that we can open, the number of dimensions, the quantity of dimensions, the quantum of dimensions that we are going to open, that is going to be a beneficial thing. So, what can be done? Just given a reference of what are the essential aspects of this aspect apart, and in general what you can discuss about it, ki bhai, how militancy came like 1947 ke baad se, what had been the issues, how political crisis from time to time, be it in the hands of the state government or be it in the hands of national government, has still manifested the issue, how the 1987 rigged election further led to militancy. If you just give it in a gist form in the historical perspective in the introduction part, it will lay down the genesis for it for sure. So what you have to do after that is that ki what are the government measures that has been taken. The first thing for sure is, yes, for sure, abrogation of Article 370 and 35A for sure. What it led to is not just removing it, but somewhere enforcing around 900 to 1000 laws which were earlier not applicable in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. RTI Act was not enforceable. Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe Act was not applicable, but after that it was made applicable. So you are somewhere trying to bring it under one legal. You are trying to ensure legal unity. Then infrastructure for sure. Again, economic aspect will come. Vande Bharat rail, train, and all those. You have heard about the Chenab bridge and all those things. Railway link to Baramulla. All these things can be included. Infrastructure, not just the physical infrastructure, social infrastructure. Education, may the way they are working in this current moment, like MBBS colleges and all those things. Although IIM Jammu was opened in 2016, but the way it has been expanded in recent times, that also showcases the kind of measures that has been taken. Then you can also find that the way employment, the efforts were made to generate employment as well as fostering business opportunities. This also becomes important. Fostering business opportunities. Business opportunities in what form? Like there are certain kind of capital subsidy that has been given for the state for this particular region. Although 80% of these funds are majorly dispersed for Jammu region, but it's an initiative that has found certain good start for sure. One cannot deny this aspect at all, at any case. So these are some of the measures that can be shown. Post and pre, what can one can talk about is the amount of attacks which has stopped from for sure. Then one can also discuss about the aspects related to means you can say these the way elections has been done, especially firstly what they did about the local governance election, local bodies elections which were conducted earlier, and then after state legislative elections were done. The way 15th Finance Commission's recommendations were adopted, although many say that it somewhere eroded federal spirit, but somewhere we also need to understand one thing, that 15th Finance Commission also showcased that because it became a union territory, center decided to keep 1% of the funds which need to be earlier devolved, like 42%, and now it made it 41. So that 1% will be used for the development in Jammu and Kashmir region. So that also showcase some kind of measures. So yes, pre and post abrogation or the positive impact is number of instances of attacks has reduced for sure. Another thing that has happened is that the sense of, because I said, legal unity and all these things which has come for sure. Infrastructure has come for sure, which was earlier getting hindered, because if there is any kind of sense of insecurity, investment cannot happen in those regions. But still there are certain kind of concerns that you need to discuss in your conclusion, is that key in 2023 when the judgment came that key abrogation of article 370 was constitutional, it was upheld constitutional. But Supreme Court also said one thing, ki try to conduct elections by September 2024 for the state, which was also conducted, but the statehood has not been conferred. And considering a sense of a very unique precedent which has been set, ki in India we can find that ki union territories have been given statehood like Mizoram and all those things, but it has not happened yet that any state has been demoted to a union territory. That has not happened. So this becomes a very unique picture. This need to be tackled accordingly. So these dimensions, if you cover in your conclusion, that will be a better thing. Last but not the least, the last question was related to financial terrorism. So primarily you can find that in internal security they are not very much deeply going into this emerging arenas of warfare. Like in emerging arena of warfare in related to Jammu and Kashmir, you can also talk about the aspect of IED attacks or the drone attacks which are happening in recent times, which also demands ki faster implementation of smart border management mission schemes like that. So yeah, coming to this thing, yes, emerging arena warfare is not what they are majorly seeking. They have asked about financial terrorism. This question is very much unique because counterfeit currency, money laundering, discuss what are they as major sources of terror funding, and what they are talking about, what are the initiative which has been taken by international level, and what is the role of FATF, and methods of compliance by member states, where you can discuss about India for sure, because again you have a limited knowledge, so you can use it accordingly. So how you can initiate, as I said, you have to discuss about counterfeit notes, and money laundering. You can discuss about the aspect of corruption, which somewhere also led to bomb blast in 1993, bomb blast in Maharashtra, Mumbai bomb blast. Then a sort of organized crime, counterfeiting notes coming from Nepal, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Many of you who might have watched the movie Dhurandhar, they might have seen about this thing. Bangladesh, if someone has watched this Farzi web series by Shahid Kapoor and Vijay Sethupathi, there they have discussed about Bangladesh and all those things. So this makes it very much, if someone is very much into movies and web series, they may be able to say this कि हाँ कहाँ से आ रहा है, source of country बता ही सकते हैं, कम से कम कुछ तो benefit होता है. That you can discuss here. Then as a terror funding, how it leads to कि भाई to procure weapons, that will come for sure. Currently, these counterfeit notes and money laundering or whatever is the way, it is also leading to a new form of gig terrorism. I hope Manikant sir is going to take this aspect in the upcoming current affairs, how GS traveled this week, because this is becoming a very much Riyaz Bhatti network or whatever, which has becoming prominent in Pakistan. This is creating a major problem where certain kind of organized crime groups are also collaborating with these terror groups. So these organized groups are not having that much amount of terrorist ideology, but they're conducting certain kind of terrorist activities. So this cahoot is something very much harmful. So it becomes equally pertinent ki what are the other initiatives and what initiatives has been taken by different organizations, where you can discuss the aspect of United Nations resolution 1267 and 1373, UNODC. You might have heard that in India there was a summit was conducted, no terror financing summit. So that can be brought. Global program against money laundering. Similarly, you can discuss about IMF and World Bank. They are also trying to incorporate artificial intelligence, machine learning to identify such kind of fraud or something like that. What FATF is doing generally, what you should at least write, at least in the form of key limited knowledge, the idea of blacklist, grey list, and accordingly it gives certain kind of recommendations. Otherwise, sanctions are imposed. How member states need to adhere to them. So we can discuss about Indian context again with limited knowledge. Prevention of Money Laundering Act, PMLA, UAPA Act, where they define any kind of organization as a terrorist organization. Similarly, you can also bring the aspect of like this financial intelligence units, FIUs, under Department of Revenue Intelligence, and all those things are also working. So all these dimensions will somewhere give a broader picture ki how that need to be done. So this internal security, all these four questions gives a huge idea ki bhai, although the topic is huge, but you have to write it or limit it within those 250, within the walls of 250 words, and that's now your ability how you are going to do. So it is very much essential ki somewhere you have to showcase certain kind of diagrams or flow charts so that you can easily tackle it accordingly. So with this we are wrapping up this session. Hope you have liked it, and hope it gives a better clarity or bigger clarity or better picture ki how one need to incorporate the integrated approach to score higher and perform better in these exams. Thank you so much and goodbye.